Hello home bosses, welcome back to part 3 of our video series on how to publish your first low content book on Amazon KDP. So now we come to the part where we have to validate our idea, and what I mean by that is we have to find out if our book is going to sell, because you don't want to spend a lot of time making a book and then it turns out that nobody's really asking for a book like that or wanting to buy a book like that. So we need to make sure that there is demand. So how do we validate a niche? And the first thing I want to say to start is that notebook is not a niche, or planner is not a niche. Like some people, when we've been talking on the Facebook group and in other Facebook groups that I follow, they kind of think that that is the niche, notebook is a niche, but that's not the case. Niches are, for example, the teacher niche or the nurse niche, or mothers or brothers or cat lovers, horse riders or vegetable growers or gardeners or chefs, office workers, call center workers. So they are niches because that is what people do, or that's what people have as a hobby. So you can have a notebook, but that's not a niche. But if you have a notebook for a teacher, then that is a niche. That's a teacher niche. Or a notebook for a cat lover, then that is a niche. That's your cats is your niche then. And this is important as well because some people sometimes wonder what category do they put their low content book in. So I just wanted to clear that up because I think that some people are not quite sure what a niche actually is, and it's important to know that. So now to validate a niche and to make sure that our book is going to sell, we have to really ask ourselves the following questions. First of all, are people searching for this? Is there a demand? So you've had an idea. For example, you have decided to make a notebook for office workers. So now you have to check whether, first of all, are people searching for it? Because if nobody is searching for it, then there's no point in making a book. The second question you have to ask yourself is there any competition? How many other books are there in that niche? And what are the books like in that niche? You know, what do they look like? Have they got something in common? So, look at the competition. Then you have to also find out if those other books sell. So you can see that from looking at their feedback or looking at their reviews or from looking at their bestseller rank. So you take a look at your competitors and you have a look and see if those books are selling well. And also, do they sell a lot? Do they just sell some? What is the situation with sales? And then the last question you need to ask yourself is, can I beat the competition? Will my book stand out? Because as I always say, don't be afraid of competition. Competition is good because that means that there is a demand and a lot of people have decided to create books in that niche. You just have to stand out. You just have to make your book different. There's no point in copying other people, because if you copy them, first of all, you're risking copyright infringement, and second, who's going to buy a book that's a copy of another one? They might as well just buy the original book. So there's no advantage in copying a book. You can get inspired by a book, but don't copy. So those are the questions that we are going to ask ourselves when we do our niche validation. So let's have a look and put this into practice. I've got my Amazon.com screen here and just leave it on all products and let's validate our niche. So let's just, for the purpose of this video, decide that we want to make a notebook for office workers. So let's type in notebook for, and then before you type any further, have a look and see what the drop down tells you. If there are suggestions given for you, then that means that people have been typing them in. So people have been typing in notebook for work, notebook for women, notebook for men. So let's have a look and see if office worker for office women, office notes, office use. So that's really good. So let's say we want to make a notebook for office women. I'm sure that'll be a notebook for women more than anything, and I expect to find a lot of floral and pretty designs, but let's have a look. So these are all the notebooks that are coming up. You can see there's a lot of books that we can't produce on KDP, like spiral bound or hardback books. We can only produce paperback books. So let's do another thing. Let's click on books first of all, and let's load that up. And then also we want to click on paperbacks, because this is the only type of book that we can produce on KDP. So there's no point in looking at any other books. So let's have a look what comes up. There's the first one, which is sponsored. So someone has paid to advertise it. It's got a terrible BSR, over 5 million. That means that not many are selling at all. I think they're wasting their money on advertising. Let's see what else they have. This one here, Somehow I Manage, and it's got a little picture of an office worker. The BSR is quite good, 74,000. So that means they're selling at least one book a day, I would say. This one here is very good, 47,000. So the lower the BSR, this is the best seller rank, the lower the better. That means more books are selling. So this means that this book is number 47,228 in all the books on Amazon. So that's pretty good. You can see this is a very, very simple cover, just a black cover with writing. So that wasn't very difficult to produce. Okay, so these are some more examples. So there's another one, 814,000. That's not great. So let's see. Well, what did we say we had to do? We have to first of all find out, are people searching for this? Is there a demand? And we looked, and yes, people are searching for it, because when we typed this into Amazon, there was a drop down and it told us that people are looking for this. Now, there are tools that you can use to check exactly how many people are looking for it, but we're keeping this video very, very simple because we just want to teach you the basics, and we're just going to do our research without using any tools, just looking on Amazon. And I can say that because there was a drop down when we typed in notebook for office, that people are definitely looking for this kind of book. So there is a demand. And now the second question was, is there any competition? And yes, there is. There are a few books that are doing quite well. This one here is doing quite well. This one here is doing well. Let's see if there are any more. This one's doing very well, 3,642. So they're selling a few books every day. So there's another one here, 119. That's not bad. So I would say this is a good niche because they are selling and they're not difficult to produce. You're just looking for a good cover, and looking at the covers that are here at the moment, I wouldn't say that it would be too difficult to stand out. So can we beat the competition? I think we can. I think we can make a really nice notebook. Now, it won't be easy to rank on this page because these books already have quite a lot of feedback, and people buy products that have feedback because it's more difficult to sell a book that hasn't got any feedback. But I sell books without any feedback and I sell well, so it's not a reason not to produce them. This one's lovely, very nice. It's got a ranking of 174, not bad. This one's got a very good ranking, 35,000. That's really good. Yes, so I definitely would say this is a niche that we can create a book for. So this is how we validate a niche. I hope you found it easy to understand, and we didn't use any tools. We didn't use any keyword tools or nothing, just by looking on Amazon and just looking at the competition and answering the 4 questions that we were talking about earlier, which are people searching for this? Is there any competition? What are the other books like in this niche? Do the other books sell? And can I beat the competition? Can my book stand out? So we were able to answer all of those questions by looking at this niche. This is how to validate your niche, and I hope you found it useful. It's quite easy to do. It's not complicated. And this takes you one step closer to publishing your first low content book. So in our next video, we will be talking about the interior file, and I will be providing you with a free PDF for that file, so you don't have to worry about creating it. The aim of this video series is to just show you how to produce a low content book and all the steps that you need to make to create your first book. So we don't want to overcomplicate it. We don't want to overthink it. Let's just do this, and later on, when you decide to create more books, you can then make it more complicated if you want to do that and make different interiors. But for now, we just want to create a very simple notebook, and that's what I'm going to show you in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so you can get some updates and you can find out when the next video is coming out. And all I have to say now is just thank you very much again for listening and for joining me. And I'm really looking forward to knowing what you are going to create. I really would love to see you having success in this. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask. Leave them in the comments and I will try my best to answer. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.